Hi everybody. Today I'm with Thomas Rozdzynski. He's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, affiliated with Adam Rezovic. He's the owner and head instructor at RŌL Academy, Orland Park, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. In this four-part interview series, we're going to talk about the history of RŌL, Thomas's personal Jiu-Jitsu journey from white belt to black belt, what he thinks every student should know, and his personal philosophy towards Jiu-Jitsu. In this part of the interview, we're going to talk about the history of RŌL Academy, how it got started, and what he thinks every student should know who aspires to open up their own gym. It's going to be some good stuff. All right, let's get to it.
Originally the idea surfaced between me and my partner. At that time, we had the idea of opening an academy and really making our own training a little bit easier. So I think looking at it in retrospect, the idea of opening an academy goes way back to when I was a white belt. But if you focus immediately on the fact of just opening this facility, it was in a way it started as a joke, as a kind of a fun idea. Hey, wouldn't it be cool to have our own place where we can train at any time, do whatever we want, and kind of train in a very easy way. And it was very appealing, but more we looked into this, we found that it wasn't so easy to run a successful business, to run a successful academy. I mean, just from a simple fact of having students and what are you going to provide to these students and really provide a value to people who come in, we started learning very quickly that there had to be some process in place. There had to be some things that we had to establish before first class took place. That's why it took us several months to really find an ideal space that we thought it would be accommodating, that would meet our needs and our requirements, and then putting some of those logistics in place, providing a safe place for people to train.
So as it evolved from more of the hobby interest into more of a business aspect, when did you realize that you could actually supplement your income off of running RŌL when you could be a full-time business owner? And was there ever a point when it was just a part-time idea?
Yeah, so when we opened this, one of the very first things in the very beginning, we said that this will be a full-time academy. We won't do this as a hobby. We'll treat this as a serious business that will bring a revenue and profit and support people that are associated with the organization, whichever form that is. So the goal of making this a full-time business existed from the very, very beginning. Now, obviously, it's not so easy to take an idea to something that's profitable and really runs successfully. So there was a process and a place and time that really took for all of this to take place. So there was several steps and stages as the RŌL Academy opened and then went through these milestones to really achieve where we are today. And that's thankfully to a large group of people that are involved with this entire facility and the business as itself.
When you first started, did you feel that you had the support of your initial instructors who had guided you along the jiu-jitsu journey, or did you feel that you had to venture out more onto your own?
I think I was one of the lucky ones that not only I had a support of people here on the mat, my friends, close friends, like Professor JT, Professor Mitch, Professor Phil, from a teaching perspective or just teaching classes here, but also I had support from Team Rezovic and Professor Adam, Eddie, and so on, those guys gave me guidance and support from more the off-site kind of perspective, suggesting maybe try this, this is how we do things. I think that was fundamental to our success and really what we have here today, that people really appreciate.
Excellent. I found that it's usually really good when people have mentors help guide them along can really help it out. Was there anything that you've learned that you would think that anybody should know if they were playing with the idea of also opening up their own gym? If you had a piece of advice.
Yeah, so I'll tell you. I mean, we had number of different lessons throughout the years.
I know.
I think it's difficult to narrow one down, but I'll share a handful that really stick out right off the top of my head. Number one is that you can plan only so much. And if you had dealt with just venture out into entrepreneur ideas or running your own business, whatever that is, whether it's Jiu-Jitsu Academy or something else, you learn very quickly that having a plan is one thing, but being agile and having ability to adjust and mold that plan to what near future holds and still achieve the goals that you set for yourself, it's critical to the success. And I think that's what separates us from others. There was a plan from the very beginning. There was a plan when we are going to convert this to full time. There was a plan when we're going to introduce more classes. There's even today there was a plan what's going to happen 6 months and a year from now. And I think some of these simple milestones really takes operation as a business to the next level. And to be honest with you, running Jiu-Jitsu Academy and running a business don't always overlap. Teaching on the mat is one thing. Having outstanding instructors is one, but running a business as an operation, it's a very different skill set. And recognizing those two brings really puts this entire effort under one umbrella, which could bring success. Doesn't guarantee it, but it could bring success.
What do you want to bring to the sport by having your own academy?
This is a very interesting question, because from the very beginning when we started this entire journey, we said that we will create a place which will give people opportunity to try what Jiu-Jitsu is. As known Jiu-Jitsu is today, I mean, we have anything from international competitions at Pan Ams and Worlds and so on, and the huge submission events on streaming formats, media formats, and so on. There's still enormous amount of people who don't know what Jiu-Jitsu is. And so our goal was to present Jiu-Jitsu in such a format where, number one, it's friendly. Number one, it gives people a value where they can learn something. We wanted to present an environment where people feel safe, where people feel where there's a value after each class that they walk away from. See, from very beginning, I learned a handful of things, but one that I remember from very beginning very well is that people don't want three things to happen when they step on the mat. One is get hurt, two, be embarrassed, and three, be wrong. Now, we know how easy it is for any of those three to take place on the mat when you are put in a compromised position, especially when this is a physical sport. It's a contact sport. So creating an environment where one can come in and try Jiu-Jitsu for truly what it is without experiencing any of those three things is quite challenging. But I think once you establish that environment where students can come in and feel that there's a friendly environment, knowing that they're not going to get hurt when they walk out of here, they know they're not going to be embarrassed when they step on the mat for the first time, it's critical to their experience. And it is true that a large amount of people come in, try it, and they leave, never coming back again because one of those three took place. So, this is a big driving factor here at RŌL Academy to make sure that first experience, it's beyond what their expectation was as they walked in.
When a student first walks in a RŌL, when somebody who's interested, how do you approach that? When somebody walks in the door for the first time, what will they see? What do you want them to encounter?
It's very interesting because I think as all of us, we have a common goal to learn Jiu-Jitsu here on the mat. More often than not, our goals are very different. The sub-goals behind why we want to experience Jiu-Jitsu. From one, It could be late weight loss, or getting in shape, whatever that means. For another, it could be lack of confidence and trying to experience that, take it to a next level. Another person could experience, maybe there was some unpleasant events or set of events that took place in their place, and they simply want to have ability and a skill set to protect themselves. And this is just handful that we barely scratching the surface on that, right? Everybody has a different goal. And as new student walks onto the mat or steps into a facility, understanding what their goal is gives the instructors the ability to help them drive towards their goal. Now, don't take me wrong. It is up to the student really to drive them and achieve those goals, but it's our job as instructors to provide a vehicle that they can drive successfully towards that goal. So it's a teamwork, it's an environment of setting some of those guidelines and some of those processes in place on the mat to help the student achieve that. And some of those things are providing that safe environment. Some of them are pairing them up with specific student who will help them achieve those goals, right? But understanding and knowing every single student is, I think, what's critical for every instructor to drive successfully their classes and their programs to where they need to be.
Thank you for watching the first part of my interview with Thomas. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see the rest of the interview, click the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified about when they're posted. Until then, this is
Thomas Rozdzynski
and RŌL Strong signing off. Until next time.